mic. Am I turned up? Can y'all hear me? People who are watching can hear me? Put a thumbs up. Okay, hold on. We getting it together, y'all. Hold on. This is live. Yep, it's absolutely live. Okay, I can hear myself now. That's excellent. So I invite everyone to please share and invite all your Facebook friends to watch this episode. This episode is dedicated to my dad, Lindsey Jr. Porche Jr. And this is the episode about health, men's health, and I called it Men's Health and Dad's Health. You all will see me as usual every week playing with my phone, but I'm not playing with my phone. I'm actually inviting people to watch. You are listening to me and watching on Facebook on Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, KUAW, Kansas City's global community radio station. You can watch on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at KUAW. And then our email is KUAW985@gmail.com. Our telephone number, I am asking everyone to please call in with your Happy Father's Month. Please call in and shout out amazing dads. We're not getting very many shout outs, and that's kind of disappointing because I'm hoping we got more amazing dads than what you all are calling in. The telephone number is 816-599-6893. Our website is kuaw.org, and our Facebook, which you're watching on, is KUAW-LPFM 985. And you can also listen on the TuneIn app by typing in KUAW. Today, I was going to address something, but I decided to hold that off until a later show because I want to be consistent with Father's Month. I want to thank all of and I saw it on Dre Taylor's post because I checked off on Father's Day, y'all, and I just wasn't feeling it. My daddy ain't here. He's been gone for 20 years. And, I just kind of was in a moment. And so I didn't need to see all the tributes to dads, amazing dads and everything, because it would have just, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. But when I came back on yesterday, on Monday, Dre Taylor had made a post, and I think that was the best way to put it. He said all of the responsible men. And I love that. I want to shout out Dre Taylor because Dre Taylor doesn't have any children. Nile Valley Aquaponics founder. He has the aquaponics farm on 29th and Wabash. And he's also founder of Males to Men. It's a youth organization that's basically like a rites of passage for young men here in Kansas City. Dre doesn't have any kids, but Dre has children. He has no telling how many children he's put through Males of Men and mentored with the Nile Valley Aquaponics Farm. So today, my thing is men's health, dad's health. I'm going to give you a short backstory. My dad, Lindsey Jr. Porche Jr., passed away. We don't know if it was April 17th or April 18th. I always tell people I know when it happened because when my dad had his heart attack, I was pregnant with my third child. And I woke up and looked at the clock, and the clock said 2:34 in the morning. And I thought I was having the worst heartburn. But how did I have heartburn when I didn't eat anything to give me heartburn? And this was on April 18th at 2:34 in the morning. And I remember looking at the clock and looking at my daughter and my son, who was then, I want to say he was almost 2, or he was a little under 1. And my oldest son. And I remember saying, God, please just let me live for my children. And I was pregnant. So I should have called the ambulance or something. My aunt lived right up the street. So I should have called the ambulance. But for some reason, all I did was say, God, please let me live for my children. And then I laid back down. And when I woke back up the following morning, it was probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. Normally, when you have heartburn, there are traces of heartburn when you're pregnant. When you wake up in the morning, there's traces that you had heartburn the following night, and it was completely gone. But my day was restless. Needless to say, I couldn't get everywhere I went, picked up my cousin everywhere I went. I just couldn't get any rest, couldn't get any peace. My day was restless. And my mom and my little brother came, and I thought they were telling me that my grandmother passed, and she didn't pass for another 2 years because she was in a nursing home. So I thought they were coming to tell me that she passed, and they told me my dad passed. I talked to the coroner after my dad passed, and they said he died from diabetic ketoacidosis. His blood ketoned on him and acidified. He did not know he had diabetes. He was a truck driver. He was not able, like I am, being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, to manage diabetes because he didn't know he had it. So, the reason for this show is I am looking to encourage dads because we moms, we live at the doctor's office. We go once a year for our annual gynecology exam. We go at the age of 40 or sometimes earlier if you have family members who are breast cancer, who are breast cancer survivors. So we live at the doctors. We learn to go to the doctor all the time because when you start having children, or even earlier, when you're young and your mom is always taking you to the doctor. But men, I'm not understanding why it's like pulling teeth to get men to go to the doctor. Even when men know that there is something wrong, they will not go to the doctor. Um, and so my thing is, I want to encourage, I would like for any man who has a doctor to call in 816-599-6893. Any man who gets routine checkups at the doctor, call in and give your doctor as a referral to the men who possibly can't find a doctor, or it doesn't matter what area you in, what area you're listening in. um, Someone who thinks that they can't find a doctor, or I don't know what the case may be, but I will say this to all dads, and I'm going to set my phone down because I need everyone to understand what I'm about to say. Dads, you are the most important person to your children. If you're not important enough to yourself to go to the hospital and go to the doctor and take care of yourself, your children need you. My dad passed away when I was 22 years old, and I still feel like he passed away when I was 2. I still feel like I didn't get enough time with him. I still feel like there's a lot that I missed out on. And I hear people who are 40 who say that. I hear people, I have a friend, and she's actually a sister to me, but she's a really good friend. And she called me and she's frustrated because her dad refuses. Now, this is a woman who's 41 years old, but her dad is refusing to do what he's supposed to do. He's refusing to go to the doctor. He's refusing to take care of himself. And I told her, I said, at this point, the only thing you can do is pray and then let him understand that he's going to do what he wants to do. And you let him do what he wants, but you keep getting on his case and telling him, I don't like that you're not going to the doctor, this, that, and the other. And actually, now that I think of it, I think I've had this conversation 3 times, um, twice in May and once in June, with women who are my age whose dads are refusing to go to the doctors. Daddies, you are important to us. Um, I think oftentimes you get so busy trying to maintain a family, or driven to I don't know, because I'm not a man. I don't know. I know when my eyelash itches, I go to the doctor. I mean, I don't understand because I'm not a man. Maybe it's a distrust in the medical industry. Men, please call in and tell me why y'all don't go to the doctor, and maybe we can come up with some solutions. 816-599-6893. We're going to first start addressing things that most often take out our men, which is you know issues with high blood pressure or heart disease or diabetes. If you know you're not exercising regularly, if you are exercising regularly, you should still go to the doctor, because when with the um, I don't know about y'all, but I love physical fitness. Y'all can't tell, but I'm a really strong person underneath all the fat. But CT the trainer, CT Fletcher, he was larger than life to me. He was Superman, and CT Fletcher had a heart attack. If you don't know CT Fletcher, you can look him up. he was Compton's Superman. He was the world's strongest man, really strong guy. And he was taken down by, and it's so, I can't watch his shows. I try to watch them, but it breaks my heart to see him in the condition he's in. And I understand that he just got another heart or whatever, but it's still, it breaks my heart to see the condition he's in. Um, Michael Clark Duncan. Michael Clark Duncan, he just died. I don't know. I don't know if we ever found out how he died, but they switched him up to vegan and he died. But these men are young. I mean, even if you look at Prince and Michael Jackson, people say, "Oh, drugs took them out." But you know, other artists who have been using drugs their entire life and they're still alive. So we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And dads, this is Dad's month. Is that a caller or someone else?
Yes.
Oh, hi, call. Oh, hold on, let me let him know. Hello, caller. You're on the Lyne't Gray Show. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, hey, Nate.
Hey, George.
Hey, how you doing? You know I got to call in when I get a chance.
I know that's right. Thank you.
No problem. I'm gonna say I'm not the typical guy. I go to the doctor. I like my doctor, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him a shout out.
All righty, please do. Please do.
His name is Dr. James D'Angelo. He's housed out at the St. Joseph Medical Center on 103rd and Warnell, or State Line, just between those two. He is, when I say one of the quickest doctors you'll go to, he'll do the test that you ask for. He'll ask for some more tests if you need to, give you what you need and move on by your day.
And I'm going to ask you to put his name in the comments as well, because this is something, because I think that might be one of the issues with men, because I know men don't like to wait, because you know, I became a kind of impatient being a truck driver for 17 years and always being around men. Normally moms are very patient. I'm the kind of take the shortcut everywhere, don't like to wait through red lights. And so and waiting is not something that I really like to do. So take care. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to put his information down there because you said something amazing. You don't have a long wait when you go in there. I think that might be one of the things that might deter men from going to go see the doctor is the long wait. Thank you. And also I wanted to shout you out, George, I know you're not a dad, but you have children. You have all these babies out here that you've taught and coached. So you're still a father to me. I think that's amazing. And so I wanted to say happy Father's Month to you. I'm giving y'all the whole month. You know, dads, I was disappointed because I went with Dominique, you know, my best friend. We went to the Independence Center for Father's Day. We were at the Independence Center on Father's Day. We were just bored. There were no sales. Nothing. I was like, really? This is how dads get treated? On their day, they pay full price for everything? So
unless you catch Best Buy or maybe Academy or
we went into Best Buy and there was nothing. There was nothing. They didn't so much as give y'all a penny off the Black Panther DVD. I mean, it was a shame how we do our dads. But shout out your doctor again, and then make sure you put him in the comments. I'm gonna have you go ahead and do that. Shout out your doctor again.
James D'Angelo over at the St. Joseph Medical Center over off 103rd and Warnell.
Okay, and 816-599-6893. Women, if your husband or significant other or dad is not listening and you know he goes to a good doctor, please call in because we're doing men's health. And I decided to do this show because I realized that my heart still aches for my daddy. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, George. Love you. You have a good day.
All right, love you too.
I decided that I decided to do this show for dads, and I on the way here, and I was just saying because I have to take my 17-year-old son to the doctor, and I was listening to him, and he was like, "No, Mom, I don't need to go to the doctor." And then it seems like his problem is persisting, so I'm not gonna let him pick up that habit of not going to the doctor when he knows something is wrong. And dads, I don't think you all get the hole that you leave when you don't take physical care of yourself or when you don't go to see the doctor. And I know a lot of men feel like, duct tape fix everything. It's just a joke, y'all. Duct tape and duct tape don't fix everything, though, y'all. Duct tape don't stop the pain. It don't stop the hurt. And so I'm just asking if you know of a great doctor. I want to shout out some dads or men who have that I can see that are watching. Mr. Chamberlain, Daryl Chamberlain. He has the A flat St. James United Methodist A flat orchestra, and this man has the patience of a saint. Because I promise my orchestra classes, my kids would not. He gets them so involved and they love it. So I want to shout out Happy Father's Month to Daryl Chamberlain. Of course, George Alexander Fuller, my son, Mr. Fuller, Yaya Davis, Mr. Tyson, Forrest Tyson, Charles Davenport. That's who I can see. If I didn't see you, you can type your name in and hopefully my engineer will see it. But we're discussing health. Another thing, and this is gonna sound kind of morbid, but I mean, I'm gonna say it because my dad's not here. Your family needs to know your plans. I spoke. My guest last week was Antoine Roston, pastor of Rafa Temple, and we had an amazing show. And afterwards, he and I were in the parking lot talking, and we were talking about his dad, who passed away. And he was saying how he had made plans and he was going to bury. And then I spoke with Antoine's beautiful wife, Monet, on Saturday because of both of our children. All of our children are part of the A flat orchestra, and we were talking more about last plans and everything. Now I don't mean to sound morbid, y'all, but the Bible says it is appointed every man to die. So that means if you're born, you're going to die. If you're formed in the womb, you have to go. So if you know you're here, you need to have end of life plans. Let your family know if you want to be ventilated and on the, resuscitated. And your family needs to know all of these things. They need to know you have to have some kind of burial insurance. Y'all, it takes $15,000 to bury somebody. And that burden is strong, and it's a heavy burden to bear. And it's something that people wind up taking the burden. They wound up paying for it themselves, trying to pay it off. Like, can y'all imagine $15,000 to bury somebody? It costs more to die than it costs to be born, basically. So I'm asking everyone, get your stuff together, get your end of life. And this is not a morbid show. I'm just trying to tell y'all, my daddy was on my heart. And so I'm trying to prevent what happened with us. I'm gonna give y'all a backstory. My dad was found in his truck, passed away in his semi truck. They made, I think my mom had to go identify the body. My mom and my brother, I'm not sure, but I know I wasn't going to do it because I was pregnant and I probably would have blacked out or something. But all of his paperwork was in his truck. We didn't know where his paperwork was. All of his paperwork was in his truck. And the police had to confiscate everything that was in both vehicles, his pickup truck and his semi truck. And so my dad had a will and everything, but then they claimed they couldn't find it. And my brother and I, being young people, we were just astonished that my dad just up and died. And we didn't know. We went to a lawyer who, and I'm gonna just tell y'all the truth. You have some lawyers out here who don't mean you any good. We went to a lawyer. We didn't know we were not supposed to sign blank documents. He slid the documents in front of us and told us to sign them, and he filled the rest in. And y'all know what happened there. He turned himself into power of attorney and wiped out my dad's bank accounts. Probably if there was any life insurance policies on him that we didn't know about, every person, if you're born, that's what has to happen. No one is eternal in this physical body. So I want to make sure that everyone end of life planning is. But dads, the doctor, I'm just going to keep saying this. I see men work out all the time. I see men eat healthy. I want to shout out my brother, Brian Elias, because he's been my accountability partner for losing all of this grief weight that I gained after my sister passed, best friend committed suicide. And then My daughter's close friend was tragically murdered, all within a 2 to 3 week span. So, and he's been my accountability partner, and I've I've lost enough weight that I can fit back in some jeans that were not happening literally. And so, and I want to give him a shout out for being healthy and for taking care of himself for his children, because he has children that he knows would miss him if he's not here. Um, and so I want to shout him out for that and just for being a great dad, period. He's an amazing dad. But I need people to call in 816-599-6893. If you work in a health center that deals with men's health, as a matter of fact, um, and like I said, this came up to me just thinking about my dad, just thinking about how hurt I was and how hurt I still am. And I was told by my son, you can't keep grieving because then he said, Mom, you can't keep grieving because then our grandpa can't rest. And so, but when you lose your dad, that's your superhero. That's the first love of your life. That's the one person that you expect to live for forever. But it wouldn't it would still hurt as bad if we had insurance and I didn't have to pay to bury him. Yeah, it would still hurt as bad. There's nothing that can stop that pain. But we need to be able to make sure that we handle end of life. I know this is not a fun thing to talk about. I know this is not, a lot of, and unfortunately for us, for our kind, we think, oh, if you plan end of life, oh, if you get insurance, oh, if you plan all that, you're going to die. Well, I'm going to give you all this amazing, wonderful thing. My great grandmother died at 94. She had planned out everything all the way down to her entire service and what she was going to wear. And she had done it at 42. So if that means you're going to die, I don't understand, because that woman lived to be, and another great grandmother lived to be, I think, 104. And she had planned all hers out. She said by the time she was like 39 or 40. So I'm asking everyone to just think about these things. You're going to hear me stress that the men go see your doctor. How many men can tell someone what their blood pressure is? How many men know what your lipid panel looks like? How many men know what your BMI is? And probably a lot of you know what your BMI is because you're always working out. But, I know people go to the eye doctor. I know people will go to the dentist, but they will avoid a doctor like the plague. How many men have gotten their prostate exam? My cousin had her own daycare back in the early 2000s, and I forgot his last name, but his first name was Steve. One of his I think 2 children came to my cousin's daycare, and one day I walked in and my cousin's looking real sad and downtrodden. I'm like, what's wrong? And she said, girl, Steve died. I said, Steve died from what? She said he had prostate cancer. I'm like, he didn't look like he had prostate cancer. Well, Steve didn't go to the doctor. So by the time Steve found out he had prostate cancer, he was laying in the emergency room dying. And I've known my grandfather to battle prostate cancer and win twice. My uncle battled it once and won. I had a teacher who battled it 3 times and won. But this man didn't go to the doctor, and he passed away, and his babies were under the age of 3. So I really need the dads to start taking care of yourself. I mean, you love your children, and I understand that, but I need y'all to start taking care of yourself. Seriously. 816-599-6893. Moms, if you have anything to say, if you want to call in, if your spouse or significant other has a doctor, a men's health doctor, that you want to say, hey, this doctor seems pretty good. My husband doesn't, or my significant other doesn't have a problem with going to the doctor with this person. Call in by all means and actually put that doctor's name in the comments, because when people replay this video, they're going to see that doctor's information. It is, I'm just going to say this because I every Father's Month, and y'all going to see, because I plan on keeping this radio show, but it's like Father's Month and April and kind of November. I'm kind of checked out. I'm shook because once again, another month without my dad. And I have so much to tell him. And he's got grandsons that he would have just loved because he loved his first 2 grandkids. And so it's like, okay, Nate, pull it back together. But what can you help people to understand about the dads being extremely important. You are irreplaceable. For dads who are not present or responsible in your children's lives, you're just as important. Figure it out, meditate, pray, do what you got to do to find the strength to go back and be there for your kids. But make sure you're healthy. Make sure that you don't come back in their life and then you die a month later. That's not fair. That's not it. I mean, at least you did come back, but I need y'all healthy. I need y'all to not be in wheelchairs. I need y'all to not be on canes and you're young. I need y'all to take care of yourselves. I need you to not work yourselves to death in the ground, because I promise you, when my dad passed away, his trailers was being shipped with another owner. It didn't stop them from shipping. It didn't stop them from transporting the goods that he had on the back of that semi. They just took that trailer, put it in on a secure lot, and they were able to retrieve their product or whatever, and it got shipped on. My best friend's dad died at work at the post office. He passed away at work at the post office. Did it stop mail? No, they didn't stop the mail. They just went in there and, gurneyed him out of there and took him where he needed to go, and then called his son in to clean out his locker. These jobs, as soon as you hit the ground, somebody else is in your spot. You mean nothing to your company. You're a number. And companies can lie and say, oh, you mean the world to us if they want to. But if that's the case, a lot of companies will shut down because their people don't make it or they retire and they're like, we can't replace them. They're irreplaceable. Yeah, you mean something to their pockets. So they want to keep you, but they definitely will put someone else in your spot. So I'm needing dads to understand. You have one of the things I told a man the other day, we were standing in line talking, and he was like, yeah, I keep getting this funny feeling in my leg. And he was talking about how his leg was hurting him and he was getting this funny feeling, and it felt like something was moving up his leg. And I told him, I said, that sounds like there's a blood clot that could go to your heart. I said, you need to go to the doctor ASAP. I said, but I would prefer you go somewhere where they're a heart specialist, since you're still talking head on over to St. Luke's or any other. And you know what this man goes? Yeah, I got to go home and I'm going to go on ahead and marinate this meat. Father's Day. So this man is going to go home and prepare some meat for Father's Day and then go and dude. I mean, that's all I was thinking. And I'm sitting here looking at this man in the store and I'm like, this man could possibly have a blood clot because he said he could feel something moving in his veins. And you're going to go home and prepare some meat. So I just said a quick prayer because God protects babies and fools, as the old people always say. So I just said a quick prayer for him or whatever, and was like, Lord, please protect this man and let him get to the doctor. And we're going to go to commercial break in 1 minute. But while we're in commercial break, I'm going to say hi to y'all. But then I'm going to get some statistics on men's health, and especially African-American men, because my Black brothers, we got to do a little bit better. I'll see y'all after this commercial break. Tycon Company, LLC, specializes in a wide range of construction. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. DeMonte, Jaqueta, Daryl, Jacob, Blair, Aviance, Deborah, George, Yahya, Forrest, Glenda, Latrell, Charles, Joan, Angela, Monica, and Avonda. Thank y'all so much for watching. If I didn't call your name, that's probably because I can't see it on the phone app. So, but thank you all for watching. If I didn't call your name, if you have any men who are watching, please tell me who your doctors are. Just even if you don't want to call in, just put your doctor's name up there and we'll read it off. Because this is hopefully y'all going to the doctor because y'all mean a lot to your families. And I really need y'all to call in and let us know. Proud sponsor of Wake Up KC. Moral and James Bank and Trust is proud to sponsor KUAW Radio. At Moral and James Bank and Trust, we believe I'm just currently just looking up some stuff that I told y'all I would be looking up. For home preservation or to weatherize your home, because I really need people to understand how important dads are. I think we overlook dads and we don't give dads the credit that they should have. Um, Looking at the fact that Father's Day, it was disappointing. I mean, and I don't think anybody had any dinners or breakfasts at churches and everything. Um, that was really disappointing. So we need to start taking care of our men and our dad. I was just talking about this, and wow, I just saw some information. Y'all, I went to one of my medical links, and I just saw some information that just really blows me away. So we're back to the Lyne't Gray Show. Hey, y'all, this is Lyne't Gray, and I just saw some information that blew me away when I looked up on a medical website that I use since I found out about when I was studying medicine at UMKC. And in the top 10 killers of black men, besides the, auto accidents or accidents, everything had to do with heart, different conditions of the heart. So that tells me that our black men are stressed, number one. And I'm just, it's Dad's Month, and I'm not just focusing on black men, but that's who I know. That's who are dads and uncles and mentors and things like that to me. That's who I've had experience with, is as the men who were looking after and caring for me, is black men. So, but as I was writing and I was scrolling up to read other, conditions, other killers of men, and then I clicked on, the thing that breaks down the dynamics of who is what and blah blah blah. The black men, every single thing said diseases of the heart. That was not an auto accident or suicide. So in the top 10 causes of death for black men, you have diseases of the heart repeatedly. There are different types of diseases of the heart, but that tells me that our black men are doing a lot to take care of everything else except for your hearts. We all know you all are predisposed to high blood pressure. Um, and I feel that's just a nature of the stress that you endure from having. I used to joke with a friend, and I was like, every black person who's born in America needs some kind of mental health, and it was a joke, but then again, it wasn't a joke. We need some kind of thing that we can sit down and talk to someone, but black people shun that. We need to stop that, because that will help us. I had to go through it, during my divorce, because I felt like I was losing my mind. So, I mean, I want y'all that, and that's funny that it said disease of the heart. And one of the issues was what I was just talking about before going to break, which was pulmonary, cardiopulmonary disease, cardiopulmonary infraction, which is where a blood clot goes up your vein and hits your heart and kills you. And I was just saying that the man in the store was talking about he could feel something in his leg moving up felt like inside of his vein. And that was one of the things that suddenly kills black men. Y'all, and I'm just going to keep saying this, and black women, I have a real big problem if y'all can't tell me who your husband's doctor is, because that means you're more worried about having a man or a husband or significant other, any of that. You're more worried about having a man than you are than keeping that man alive. And that was one of the things, no matter how much I didn't like my husband, still don't like him. My ex-husband, when I was married, I say husband because I was married then. But how much I didn't like my ex-husband, I kept him at the doctor. I made sure he went to the doctor all the time. Had to keep him alive. But that is our role as significant others. We have to stop being so selfish. Make sure he goes to the doctor. Make sure he gets head to toe physical. He don't. If he don't want to go and they're not going to go, you have to schedule it for him. You have to make them go. You have to, if you have to take the day off from work, hey, you going with me, and don't even say nothing, just take him, and he goes to the doctor. However way, I know some men will go kicking and screaming, but however way you have to do this, make sure that, because especially if you have children, because the children are greatly affected when at any age when something happens with their dad, and we tend to downplay the significance of dads. I will say it again. I was out with my best friend for Father's Day celebration, and every store we went in, nobody had a sale. Nobody had a sale. Nobody was giving any discounts. No, it wasn't hey, it's Father's Day, come in and get 15% off. So that tells me the climate of how people feel about dads and fathers. And so oftentimes when people are unappreciated, they oftentimes don't even appreciate themselves. And so, and a lot of people, you do not, because I was guilty of that. I was a daddy's girl. I knew daddy would always be there, always be there. And then, yeah, you get a rude awakening at 22 that your dad is, oh, no, he ain't Superman. He don't last forever, you know. And then you're like, what do I do? Because you are daddy's girl, and that is your rock, and he's your everything. And so then you're stuck. What do I do? Well, number one, you got to grow up now because dad's not around. And everything that you thought that he would leave you is gone. The lawyer got it. So then what? Where do you stand? You have to grow up. So I just want to, I didn't hear very many shows addressing men's health. Men, another thing I learned from a lot of war veterans, your feet. You have to, men think it is not masculine to get pedicures. It is essential to your health to get pedicures, because if you go, how can I put this without sounding? Okay, I'm gonna just say it like this. If you go to a black owned nail spa, they will more readily tell you about your feet problems that you have. I think that's a good way. Is that a good way to say it? If you go to a black owned nail spa, they will more readily tell you about any issues that they see with your feet, because anyone who's trained in the cosmetology or barber field, and that in the cosmetology field includes, nail techs and things like that, and estheticians, men go get facials. People can tell you from your face what you're dealing with on the inside. But nail techs, they go through a serious training of, people think it's just going in and learning how to do manicures and pedicures and do French tips and gel nails and that. Yeah, you learn that, but you take tests, you go through serious training to learn conditions of the feet. And one thing I found out from talking to a lot of men, because y'all know I've been a truck driver for 17 years, so you run into a lot of vets and you run into a lot of guys who've seen war, and they always say the first thing that you need to take care of in war, most of us would think, make sure you got on a helmet, this, that, and the other. They said, take care of your feet. Keep your feet dry. Keep your feet, hang nails or anything. You keep them things cut, pulled, whatever. Keep your feet. They said, because like they said, without your feet, you're a dead man. So I would say this, and I'm not saying y'all gonna die without, taking care of your feet, but go on and get them pedicures. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And some of y'all got feet that look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's okay too. Go on ahead, just let them, as Myra, as Martin said, you got to get down with Myra feet. Let them break out the saw and get your feet done. But take care of them feet. Have all them bunions and calluses taken off of them, and then you might not be so ashamed of them either. I mean, I've seen men not care and just the feet look like something off a Velociraptor or something. You just like, you need to go get them feet done. But Dr. Alvin Smith, is that his name? On 31st, right off of 31st and Prospect, the foot doctor. He's a podiatrist. I think his name is Alvin Smith. Y'all go pay that man a visit. He's tough. And I will tell people, my ex-husband had the feet up. His feet were horrible. They were horrible. He went to that man shaved all of that heavy callus off his foot, trimmed his toenails. And amazingly enough, he had like a toenail fungus or whatever, the fungus that turns your toenails like black, not the kind that grow off and look like mushrooms, but he had a toenail fungus, and this man told him to get like Vicks Vapor Rub and put it on his toes every night, put it on his toenails and cuticle, and it turned it back the right color. He also gave me some internal medicine for it, but he said, you know, once you're done taking internal medicine, get this Vicks Vapor Rub. Um, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to turn everybody into a pretty boy because I know everybody don't want to be a pretty boy, but when you go to get your feet done or when you go to get your skin done, these people are trained just as well as doctors, so they can tell you pretty much what you're dealing with. Interior Dr. Carruthers, he is a dermatologist in the location 1 building on 63rd and Woodland. Amazing. He's been doing it for years. He's one of the best. His skin looks amazing. And years ago, I went to Dr. Carruthers. If anyone can look his name up, and tell me what his address. Glenda, can you put Dr. Smith's information on here because I know you know about him too. But Dr. Carruthers, years ago, before I was ever diagnosed with diabetes, I went in because I was having skin issues, and this was in like I want to say 2009. And Dr. Carruthers looked at my skin and told me I had diabetes. I went back to my doctor and told my doctor what he said, and he tested me, and my doctor gave me the glucose tolerance test, and it showed up I didn't have diabetes. Now, I was diagnosed, Dr. Carruthers, I think he told me this in 2000. Jaquetta, yes, you got packages. My child is texting me in the middle of a show asking if they're on the dining room table, Jaquetta. See, y'all mamas don't get a break. In the middle of a show, she texted to find out if she got her packages. But Dr. Carruthers, this was 2009. He told me I had diabetes. I went back to my doctor, and Jessica, the topic is men's health and dad's health. And getting our men to go to the doctor and take care of themselves. Oh, Jessica, if your husband has a doctor, can you please shout out all his doctors on here? Because we want our dads to take care of themselves. We want our significant others and husbands and fathers and uncles to take care of themselves. And a lot of men probably don't trust doctors. So if we have doctors that the men are going to, that they trust, that they are continually going to, then we want to go ahead and shout those doctors out. But like I said, Dr. Carruthers, the dermatologist, he saw from my skin, he figured from my skin that I had diabetes. Yes. I went back and told my family physician what he said, and the family physician did the glucose tolerance test. And unfortunately, with the glucose tolerance test, it showed that I did not have diabetes. This was 2009. And Dr. Carruthers was like, that's strange, because looking at your skin and looking at what I see, that's typical of a type 2 diabetic. We then turned around, and 2013, St. Patrick's Day of 2013, I wasn't feeling well. I felt like I was having a heart attack. It was just all kind of crazy stuff going on. And I went to the ER. And in the ER, they told me, oh, no, you're not having a heart attack, but you're not leaving. And I said, why can't I leave? And they said, your blood sugar is so high that the lab wants to know why we sent the blood of a comatose patient to them. That's how high my blood sugar was. And I was like, wow, and so they did not leave. And then when I went to go see my doctor the following day, because they demanded, or the following Monday, immediately Monday, they demanded, they were like, the only way we're going to let you leave is if you schedule an appointment to go see your doctor. And I went to go see my doctor, and my first glucose test he did on me was like 500. It was ridiculous. And he was like, well, I'm going to tell you like this. And he gave me an outline of what could be done. He told me we can put you on insulin, and hopefully you're not type 2 and you could have gotten this under control, or you can do this, and this, and I'm going to put you on metformin. You take the metformin, and we're going to get this under control, and then you're going to come back next week, and we're going to keep, and he had me tested and everything. But imagine if I'm a woman who goes to the doctor all the time, and had diabetic checks, and right then and there in my doctor's office, it clicked to me how my dad, and I always say he woke up dead, because he's not here anymore, but he's here in the spirit world, and I can always feel him around me. But it explains to me how he woke up dead, because I was fine. I was perfectly fine until that one moment that I had to go into. I kept saying, I got to go to the doctor because I'm not feeling well. I got to go to the doctor. My ex husband was like, well, get up and go then. He let me drive myself and everything. He didn't care. But it was clear to me how, okay, and it became clear to me how men can get there. And you're right, Jessica. Metformin is a horrible drug. And I did with my doctor. Well, my doctor's retired now, so I can say it. He made me get on a diet. He made my diet so strict, but I was still able to enjoy food. And my blood sugar dropped. He was like, he had like glucophage or whatever the other stuff and metformin and all that. And he was like, you're going to take this to bring it down out the 500s. He said, but once you get it down in the 120 range, you need to start managing this with diet and just watch what you with fingers to face action. And he was right. You know, quit drinking all your calories, things like that. Drink water, which I'm getting back into because I went through my whole oh, woe is me, my little sister died spell. So yeah, I got fat. I went to a job interview today and I was like, a sister gotta wear winter clothes because I can't fit nothing, you know. But Dr. You said Dr. Smith is at 2701 East 31st Street. Thank you, Glenda. And Dr. Alvin Smith is a podiatrist. And like I said, men, you need to take care of your feet. Men, you need to take care of your health. More often than not, women will carry weight in their middle section. One thing men don't understand is when you all start carrying weight in your middle section, it lowers your testosterone and raises your estrogen. That's where man boobs come from. I don't mind because we all grown folk, but that contributes to heart conditions. You want to keep your waist. Women, we're naturally gonna bulk out at the waist. Some of us can have as many kids like my daughter's best friend Janae. She is amazing. That young lady can have a baby and snap back like she never got pregnant, which is crazy. But her mom did, and she's like that. She inherited that from her mom. But majority of the time, we keep some kind of a pooch or something. Men, you have to keep your waist down. Keep your waist and the circumference of your neck down. One of the things, if you're a driver or if you're looking to be a driver, any kind of DOT certified employee, you have to keep your weight down. You have to keep your waist trim. You have to keep your neck trim, because the first thing they're going to do is send you for a sleep apnea test. If you're looking, anybody who knows any truck drivers, CDL drivers, any drivers, heavy equipment, any of that is regulated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, we have to take DOT tests. And if your neck measure is too big, or if they consider your BMI too high, they will send you to do a sleep apnea test. You guys, sleep apnea tests, men, dads, truck drivers, whatever driver you are that's FMCSA regulated, the sleep apnea test starts at $1,600. I had to take it because I was diabetic. So they wanted to make sure that I didn't have sleep apnea, which I didn't, but I didn't have to pay it because my now ex-husband, his insurance is so amazing. It paid everything on it. I think the only thing I had to pay was like the $30 copay when I walked in. But I know so many people who were sat down out of their truck just because they did not take the sleep apnea test. Not because they showed to have sleep apnea, but because they could not afford the test. And so they never took it. And so they can't approve you for your DOT card. So there goes your livelihood. So we have to make sure that our men are healthy. You're taking care of yourself. Make sure, Jessica, you were saying it's like dragging. It's hard to drag your husband to the doctor. And I know you do a lot of holistic, but just make sure he goes. I tell a lot of people, Swole Parkway Health is an amazing resource because it's comprehensive. You got everything in one building. And my best friend, he did not want to go to the doctor. And I kept telling him, and I'm looking at him and I'm nursing him back to health. And I'm like, dude, you're getting worse. And he didn't want to go to the doctor. And so I said, you need to call your mom, because I knew he wasn't going to listen to me. And I was like, you need to get to your mom's house. Go to your mom's house. Find out if she's going to be there. Because I know mama makes, even if mama don't heal you, for men going to their mama's house makes them feel better. My oldest son would come, Mom, I'm not feeling good, and I make him feel better and give him everything he needs. My next to the oldest son would do the same thing. And my young ones, when they're not feeling good, they come to me. So I made him go to his mom's house, and his mom made him go to Swope Parkway Health Center. Swope, we used to call it Swope Parkway Comprehensive when we were younger, and it's on Swope Parkway in Cleveland. He got there, and he had this flu back in, I think, 2015, 2016, this flu that was going around. And I had it, got rid, did what I had to do, got rid of it. He had it, and he wouldn't go to the doctor, and he got worse, and he lingered, and it turned into bronchitis. And so that's why I say we have to get the men to start going to the doctor. I have 3 more minutes left on the show. So I'm asking anyone who has a significant other, any men on here, men, y'all better start taking care of yourselves, especially black men. When it said our top 10 causes of death for black men, everywhere that it wasn't some kind of accident or suicide in the top 10, it was diseases of the heart, different types of diseases of the heart. We have to do better. We have to do better. I want for everyone, this is Father's Month. Like I said, I want to shout out Tyrone Gathers Jr., my son's former teacher, amazing dad. Like I said, my brother Brian Elias, my brother Lindsey Porche, my uncle Miller McLaughlin Jr., my little cousin Miller McLaughlin III, my cousin Jason Garrett. Who else? Y'all start putting them up here because we're going to take this time to shout out amazing dads. Oh, the comedians Kevin Roby, Marco Summers. I don't know his real name, but he's just as silly as he wants to be. And Bobby J. Coleman. That man is always starting something. Love it. But laughter does the heart good. So Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker is not only a father to his children, but he's got all of these children that come to the WEB Du Bois Learning Center and are part of the robotics team and the Black Family Technology Awareness. So, I mean, you don't have to, Dre Taylor, Brandon Ellington. You don't have to be a dad. My 2 sons, Desmond Mason, he's having his baby, and she's due on the 29th, Blair, I think. My little grandbaby, baby Straw Hat, is due on the 29th. And then baby General, they said she's due at the end of September, beginning of October. So, and shout out to my son over in South Korea, Jock Adam Gray. Yeah, he's over there serving. His wife is back over here in Kansas City. So I just want for you all to take care of yourselves. And I know it's hard, man, because my son who's in the Army, who has free medical care, I had to chew him out from thousands of miles away because he called me, Mama, I don't feel good. I'm like, get your butt to the hospital. Mama, they treat you like they treating every single symptom they find in your body like you're a guinea pig. Good, go. So I want y'all to take care of yourselves. And this is from a mom and from a daughter who I'm a mom of men who I want to live long and healthy lives. And I'm a daughter of a man who his life was cut short too soon, right before he turned 44 years old. So this is the Lyne't Gray Show. If you can just press play on the video when it pops back up and put your doctor's information at the top of the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. I don't care if they watch the whole show. I just want men to have access to a good doctor. Take care of yourselves, dads. Next week, we going to talk sports because that's my thing, because we know the NFL is getting ready to rear back up, and I'm getting a little bit excited. But I can't tell y'all what team I root for because then I might lose all kind of listeners. So we just going to keep that, under wraps. Anybody who knows me knows who I root for, and don't be putting it on my page and spamming my show page with my team. But we're going to talk sports next week. I love everyone. Take care of yourselves, dads, and you are absolutely loved. We thank you. We care for you, and take care. This is the Lyne't Gray Show. Lyne't Gray signing out.
Music in every possible KUAW online at KUAW.org. The source from the inkwell. If it is written, it can be taught. With an open mind, there's always knowledge ready to be caught. I'm Tyrone Gathers Jr., and This show is just for you. This show is just for us.